Welcome again from the sidelines of Kenya's first fodder contracting investment action. We're very pleased to have with us Michael Mbaka from ZEPRI. Michael, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, Michael, what brings ZEPRI to a fodder conference?
Good. So, ZEPRI has doubled up the effort to do what we would call impact investments. Mm-hmm. So, moving from the boardroom and doing initiatives that bring impact. And one of it is the pastoral economy, which is very much hit by the climate risks. So we're part of the DRIVE project, that is Horn of Africa initiatives in 4 countries. And in these initiatives, we're trying to de-risk the pastoralists against the climate risks.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of the key questions that is in the mix is when the pastoralists face the climate risks, drought being the major in the pastoral economies, and here in Kenya is in 21 counties. So the question we're grappling with is what happens after insurance pays?
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, now we've paid close to 700 million, even when the rainfall has been fairly stable. That is worth almost 3 million bales of standard hay. As we move closer towards drought, because drought are cycles, when we are likely to see billions of shillings paid to pastoralists, the fundamental question will be, will they be able to access fodder at the right price so that they can keep the animals alive? Because the whole aim is keeping the animals alive. And so this conference becomes very integral to what we are trying to do to keep the animals alive.
Okay, excellent. And I guess the fact that the conference exists means that there's innate demand for it. So where do you see us standing now in this fodder situation that you have just described? Where are we today?
So where we stand today, I see we have a gap. And the gap has been very well articulated by many people. It's also in the reports. The county fodder deficits exist. And as a country, we are in the right trajectory because what we are talking about is how do we establish fodder production, where the issues of financing comes in. And one of the things that should be on the table is how do we de-risk actually production. Yeah, soon we'll be talking of the fodder investors, which like DRIVE is pumping in quite some money in billions Kenya shillings towards increasing among them the fodder production. But when there will be drought, then the investments can be wiped out. All the risk can be very major to the lenders and also the investors. So we are coming in also to see how do we de-risk not just the pastoralists, but also the fodder producers in the country. But then it's not just about production. We could produce, but then we don't have efficient distribution mechanism. So what you see in the country is the dairy sector is better organized in terms of cooperative, as opposed to the pastoral systems where we have the beef, the meat value chain, where majority, let's say 80% of the land is in the pastoral systems in the country.
Yes.
But the pastoralists are not organized in, we have very few cooperatives that are functional. Yeah, a study was just done by DRIVE and realized very few indeed of the existing cooperatives are functional. Because if you aggregate production, you need to aggregate the demand so that the market is efficient. And so in DRIVE, we're very fortunate the State Department for Livestock is not only coordinating the production, but also we are working together to see how do we aggregate demand, and cooperatives becomes one of it. I'll give an example. Ethiopia, where we're working, are able to aggregate the insurance through just like 280 cooperatives in the country. And you know, it's a vast country.
Yes.
In the pastoral areas. In Kenya, we are aggregating insurance now close to 300,000 policies through over 7,000 small groups.
Oh, wow.
Which is very inefficient.
Yes.
So if we were to get, how do we contract? Today, the big question in the room is, how can we get fodder contracting? For contracts, you can't do with these very small groups. You need the level of what the dairy sector has demonstrated. And this morning, which are large cooperatives, large unions. So that also you match the production and the demand for efficiency. So that's a big gap that I see. Yeah, that need to be crossed, especially on the pastoral systems.
Okay. So excellent. You have a very good grasp of where we are. Now, if you were to take your looking glass and look into the future, if we play our cards right, what kind of value do we unlock for the country?
So I will see Fodder as a catalyst, for the beef value chain. Yeah, definitely. When you talk of value, we know maybe close to 12%. I can't recall the actual contribution to GDP of the livestock value chain, but it's significant. In the agricultural sector, is the largest contributor, and directly, I think, over 10% to the economy. So first is we got very many animals in the country. And I've heard from the government, the average weight of, let's say, a bull in the country, we sell it as less than 200 kgs.
Yes.
Which means with proper feeding in under 4 months, the same can be over 300 kilos.
Yes.
If you are to do with the live weight that has been mentioned here today of 300 on average shillings, you can see how much value we lose.
Yes. Just
by selling underfed animals in the country. And the country has a very big market. The middle income is growing, so the demand for beef and meat has gone up. So we have a very big opportunity there. We also have a very big opportunity in the export.
Yes.
Yeah, the export of animals. Actually, they say in terms of taste and uniqueness of the organic meat, Kenya takes the position globally. So we have an opportunity there. But then what happens is that because of the cyclical of these production cycles, when we have drought and when we have more fodder, you find when you have more fodder, the market has nowhere to offtake. And then they were not prepared because you are tying in capital.
Yes.
Then when you have a slump, like last time we lost 2.5 million animals to drought. If you do the math there, you can see the billions of loss to the economy. So the question was, where do I see like a mirror of a success? How would I mirror this? First, I see the pastoral economies can get into serious production. Yeah, that the wealth of the pastoral economies can be unlocked, both for the local. And when you talk of fodder, the areas that have space to grow fodder can feed even the islands where the dairy sector is.
Yes.
Yeah, because the dairy sector have no much land for this. Also, we're talking of even export, not just local. We have over 50% deficits of fodder. If you have to convert that in terms of GDP growth, is huge.
Yes.
It's huge. Maybe moving towards $1 trillion. But then we also have 80% of the land almost suitable. Maybe over 60% of it is suitable for fodder production. And we are surrounded by a very huge market for fodder, that is the export of the fodder. So not only am I seeing the ASO regions expanding, but I'm also seeing the economy can take this as a major export cash crop.
Excellent. I think, Michael, you paint a brilliant picture of the opportunity that exists for us. We thank you, one, for participating in this podcast, and also for informing us on how we can unlock this opportunity for the benefit of the nation. And we wish you the best in what's left of the conference. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me, and looking forward to continued conversation.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.